This is Deborah Weaver, and we're now going to work on a men's designer 5-pocket jean. We're going to take the standard one that we created. I just wanted to show you quickly that, once you have a standard and you take out the pictures, you can see how your sketch would fit on a croquis and how you could still do a flat type of sketch on your croquis by keeping the waistband straight up here. You can see where it is on this leg out there. So once you perfect your sketch, I went in and changed the stroke of the dashed lines to a 5 because I think it looks better. And that was just a couple of the quick fixes that I did. And then I brought it over and created a basic template so that I could go ahead and export these into the style pages of a tech pack. This could be used for the POMs here, but it's just ready for a men's basic 5-pocket. So from there, I went ahead and brought them onto another artboard, and I have some designer denim in the background here. This is from a brand called Jack Jones out of England, and you can see here that I've placed the sketch right on top and just took out the fill so that I could start to adjust it here. So the first thing we can see is that you would want to ungroup everything and sort of just get everything off to the side because we don't really know what's down here until we look. So I'm just going to grab the whole coin pocket for now. Move it over. And then we can see the shape of the curve to begin with. So let's just get rid of that for now. So this, we can see, is a much deeper curve down here. Comes way down, and then our coin pocket is coming in from there. So we can just start with that basic shape. We know it's going to be dropped below the waistband, so I'm just going to drop it down here. And then it's just peeking out here. See if I can get that curve. Okay, it doesn't work with this line, so we're going to have to readjust it. Shift-C shortcut to get that part, and then once I pull on this, now it's separate from the top, that aspect of it. Let's get that more along the curve. Okay. Still not matching that pocket curve line that I have. Okay, a little bit harder than, shouldn't be this difficult. Okay, so from here, let's take the fill out so we can see what the stitch information is there. We've got the keyhole buttonhole that we're going to need. And we have a single needle going up and a 1/2-inch bar tack. Let's grab a bar tack. So we're going to have a bar tack up here. Two different color stitches. There's a darker stitch here, so this one, let's go ahead and eyedrop on the 0.75 stitch we already had on the page, and then we can see that this one has to curve out up here. This one doesn't curve so much as it literally has an anchor, and it's angled. So let's get it to the top, and then we have just a nice simple hem stitch here, and it also looks like there's a frame. Now, depending on whether or not this CAD would need to be filled in the coin pocket, you could just leave it lines like this and not have to fill it. I went ahead and made that a 7/5, so it's clearly that this is a frame on top here. And then here's our keyhole buttonhole. Just swing that into the right position and make sure that it's fitting within the coin pocket, because it's impossible to actually have it done if it doesn't fit. So I'm going to go ahead and move these down just a tad so that it fits. Okay, so there's the coin pocket. Then on the side here, I'm going to go with the one above that has a quadruple needle. So let's just group the first two. You can grab them at the same time. And then duplicate those. Now we have a 4 needle. And let's see about how far down it goes. It goes down past this stitch here. So let's go back, zoom in. And I think we're going to need to make these a 0.5 as well. They're too big. Well, they're already a 0.5. Okay, so we don't want to make them any smaller than that. Let me just get this bar tack out of the way and see if I can just grab these. Take the fill out of that. I'm going to have to zoom in because it's really hard to grab onto these anchors within the shape there without grabbing the lines. So there we have it. Let's pull it down to here. And then we have this bar tack along the bottom there. Let's do 2 of them. Okay, so there is that. The outseam information. Let's go ahead and add this. There is another double needle right here that you can't see. So on this one, we're going to duplicate this line right here. Turn it into a single needle. We know that curves don't always fit so perfectly. So we're always going to have to make more adjustments on curved lines. So we can get that one in there, just a nudge. Okay, that's too much. It's better. Okay, and then let's duplicate that. That looks pretty good there. And then there's one more that's farther away. Okay, so we have this one that can go up underneath this belt loop. Bring that out just a hair. Okay, and then we have one more stitch right here. That's not very good. Let's just see if I can do one here. Capture that shape. That looks good. It is more straight here though, so I'm going to go ahead and add the anchor. More like a J. Okay, and then we can see we have this, looks like a bar tack right there too, so let's grab the bar tack. Right on top of that line. And then on this, we've got a loop here, some kind of a tab, the bar tack on it. So it's about that tall. It goes right on top. And bar tacks. Let's take the fill out so you can see what they are. There's a rivet on there as well. We'll have to come back and look at the rivets in a minute after we're done with all the stitch information. Okay, so here, let's get it in the middle. There's, it looks like a small 1/8 double needle, and this one's already looking like it's 1/8, so I'm going to go ahead and just make this the same for that. And we could just make a brush, but I'd say that I'm just going to eyeball this one for now. Brushes are going to help you all be more consistent though. So if you need to make brushes, if you have a lot of the same size stitch on a design, you just go ahead and make a brush. So this should actually look a little bit more like this right here than the quadruple needle on this outseam. A little bit harder to get in a different spot there. There you have it. So that's the same there. We've got all that information there, and let's go ahead and take the waistband fill so we can see what's happening with this belt loop. This belt loop only has one stitch in the middle. Let's get rid of those little pieces that were never taken away. We just have one in the middle, and let's see what this side looks like now. So we can go ahead and take all that information and duplicate it over there, but let's go ahead and start on the fly stuff. This is probably going to be okay. I'm going to have to move the picture over to see. This is all gone now. We're going to move this other stuff over from the other side. Okay, so we definitely want to straighten out our back yoke forward here. We can see that it's straight on this style. Straighten that out a little bit. And then the stitch is a single needle instead of a double needle. That was a double needle brush there. It's a single needle, and it's actually on top. The seam is pushed up as opposed to the standard, which is down. Okay, so here is that whole side stitch information. So if we just get rid of the other stitch information that wasn't correct, and then just grab all of this, including everything. Oh, we don't need the coin pocket, sorry. Do not need any of the coin pocket information. All the side, the rivets we would have needed, and let's just grab, let's see if we can just grab that part. And we need this, and not that, this. Okay, Control G for group, mirror it over to the other side, nudge it into place, and it looks like we're fine there. We didn't do the loop yet though, so we're going to get rid of this loop because we're just going to work one. And it's this one. So we see here that we need to bring this whole thing forward because the stitch here is showing. Often when you group things, that's what happens. It brings it forward. So in this case, it brought it forward, but not above that line. So now we have the belt loop back where we want it. Let's just, oops, let's just grab it all. Should have been grouped already. It's not grouped yet. So let's group the loop. And then see what it looks like. So let's put it here. And then it looks like it could come a little bit longer. You always want to make sure that your loops are flush up here with the waistband. Okay, so let's go ahead and just mirror that over now to the other side. Okay, so there's our mirror. Now we can see here on this J that there, it's really hard to see, but there are, and this is not your typical J stitch. There's more than one stitch here. One is tonal and the other one is this blue. This one is a tonal blue color, the other one is this golden sort of color. So there's one, and then we'll just move the same shape in a tab. You can see it's too high up here. Down. And then on this one we just can't be over the center. So sometimes when you have a shaped line, it's easier just to add an anchor and delete the part you don't need. Otherwise it changes the entire shape when you go to move that anchor. Let's go ahead and add the fill over this side. So let's actually double check our pocket information was okay. We could come in and fix this a little bit still. It's not so great. That's better. Okay, so over on this side, let's go ahead and fill that too. You can see that we don't need this over on this side. So let's ungroup it. We're going to take this out because this wouldn't be on this side. It wasn't rather. I'm not sure about the bar tack. Let's look at the one up top here. So we've got that vertical bar tack there, but not on this side. We have a seam on this side instead of the coin pocket. Let's get rid of that. And add that seam right down the middle. Make sure that it's a 7/5 at least. Sometimes it's better to make internal things look a little bit smaller. Okay, so that is pretty much the front up here. I'll go ahead and fill those other pieces back. The front rise seam is pretty much this. We'll look at the thread colors after we're done with this because clearly there are two colors. There's a denim one and then there's this other color here. The belt loops are coming from the side, so we'll work on that as well on this front sketch, and let's move to the back. So here, let's everything should be ungrouped already. I'm going to just move this pocket more over to the middle. I'm going to just delete this one. Let's see what's going on back here. So the first thing that we have is the back yoke is not as severe as a corner as a normal jean. We know that the stitch is on top and it's a single needle, so we'll just grab on that and eye drop onto the single needle stitch that we're using throughout the sketch. Put that on the top because it's on the top on this style. And you can see it here on this, that the seam is washed. There it is. You can see it clearly, but the wash finish is showing how it's up there at the top. And then on the pocket shape, it's definitely been adjusted here. So let's go ahead and take this down. Let's follow what we see here, more or less. A nice big pocket. Let's get rid of those stitches. Let's ungroup the whole thing. We're going to see what stitches are here. So take the fill out. Okay, and the first thing we can see is that there's a frame. There's a really big frame on this. I'm going to keep the pocket rectangular more or less instead of making it look like a sketch here. So there's the frame on the top. It's a fun color. Let's go ahead and just move that in. And the frame is perfectly rectangular, so I'm going to adjust the pocket itself to match the perfect rectangle underneath, which sometimes it's hard to get anchors exactly where you want them to. Fiddle around with them a little bit. And then for sure there's a stitch there that you can see, a nice small single needle. It's right on top of the frame. And then we have these fun little darts that are coming down, and what looks like just a single needle. Let's look up here. So there is a 1/8 of an inch single needle for an intentional lip here. So we can just duplicate the outer shape on that one. You can still see there's some other stuff there that we don't want. Let's get rid of this. And these bar tacks we're going to need, so I'll leave those. Are they separated or they're part of the group? So let's just ungroup it all. One of them can go right here in the middle. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay, we'll just put it right in the middle, I think. Let's look at what it looks like there. No, it's at the top. So let's put it back at the top where it was. And then we're going to make this into that middle line and move it in to where it's 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. So in this kind of a stitch, you just want to make sure that you call out the 1/8, because it's not typical edge, which is closer to the edge. There it is. I don't need that top one. Let's drop those in. And we can see that there is another bar tack here that's basically an embroidery that looks like a diamond, or sorry, a triangle as opposed to, but it is a form of a novelty bar tack. So let's just go in and zoom in on that so we can make it look like the diamond. Okay, and then this one, whoops, this one I'm going to say I would put one here just to secure this side. And you can see we have a stitch line here. It's more of an embroidery. This would probably be included on the embroidery, an embroidery separate page on the file, because we clearly have a very tight stitch here. So let's get rid of this. Let's make this a 0.5. Let's see how that looks by a 0.5. Let's make it a 7. Oops. That's better. So that it looks different than the stitch information that we're using, clearly that it's something else. Okay, so let's duplicate this bar tack again. Here. See one here. I'll just go ahead and put it on the end if I can get it. And then put this other one down here. Okay, so there's the back pocket. And then we need to take the loops and do this fun see which one's on top. So clearly this one is the one on top. So let's start with this one. You can see that they're longer. This one is definitely longer than the rest of the loops. So I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit. I made it too wide. Okay, so go back and make sure that we're going to keep it the same height, the same width, even though we're increasing the length. So there's that one, and then on this one, is the same size. We're keeping the same size, and we are putting it shorter though. It's an interesting loop. You wouldn't be able to wear a belt through it, so I'm going to not do that. I'm going to keep it the same so that you could actually put a belt through it. Let's move it up. Maybe it's still. Okay, so there's our crisscross, and then these ones are actually going toward the front. So these are angled loops. You can see them here. We'll just delete that and come here. Let's start with this back one, and then we'll do the one at the front. So these are definitely going to have to be longer loops as well. So let's go back in and do the same thing. Now what these loops will do is they will curl up over, and so you gonna have to change the file to look like it's turning. I'm going to go ahead and add another anchor here. Try to show the effect. This one can come down and it'll be shaped. So Shift C is the shortcut for shape. Creating shape in the line. And let's bring this one down. The same thing on this. I'm going to have this curl around the corner look. Let's just get rid of this information right now to get it to look how we need, which is about like that. This is creating the illusion that it's going around this to the other side there. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now the double needle is definitely going to converge. I'm not sure we're going to have to adjust this, but that's a good start. It's still grouped. There we go. Okay, so let's drop that in and then see how much more we're going to have to adjust it. Okay, that looks good to me. Okay, so there is the back version of the loop to the front. Group that all, and then go ahead and mirror it over to the other side. Oh, and we still need to mirror, bring it to the front. We still need to get the other stuff over there. So this is gone now. And now we have this new back pocket. Make sure it grabs everything. And these seams here. Mirror it over. Okay. And then now we need to finish the front, the look of the front loop, which you can clearly see up here. So this one will come over. And you can see that it's basically in alignment with all this top stitching. And that's more or less it. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. Get rid of that one down there. And then we're going to delete that. Move that here. Give me a little bit of shape for that one. And that's pretty much it. We just need to smooth out this top piece right here, this position. There we go. And then duplicate that, turn it into our stitch. Drop these closer. Grab it separately because it's still grouped, so we're just going to grab all the anchors. Do it this way. Bring that in here. Grab those stitches and bring them in again. I don't want them all to show here because it should look like it's going into the seam, which looks better, and it does. It's not. I want it to be right there. Okay, there we go. So there's the front loop that's going around to the back. And I would just go back in and fill my front waist here. Move my loop over to the other side. And there we have the change from the 5-pocket basic to the designer version.